The shooting led to a shelter in place for people at the mall. That was lifted before 8 tonight. And we encountered businesses that told us they were closed for the rest of the evening because of the shooting. As we work to gather more details, we're going to give you another look of that suspect. Right now, police are still looking for him. He was caught on surveillance. He's the one in the white sweatshirt on the left. Police believe he is armed, so if you see him, do not approach him.
It's upsetting on a number of different levels. To have a totally innocent teenager hit is very upsetting. To have other teenagers engaged in this behavior on the eve of a national holiday.
We've all been there before and know what that's like, just enjoying your time, hanging out with friends, that sort of thing. And the fact that her life was taken, it's just awful.
It wasn't worth it.
"13-year-old Jada Woods Johnson was described as a smart and outgoing young girl with a cheerful nature and a great sense of humor. She was the oldest of her 6 siblings and was proud to be a role model to her younger brothers and sisters. Jada was also a huge movie fan. There probably isn't any movie that she hasn't seen. Like most teens, Jada loved shopping and was looking forward to heading to the mall with her best friend and her best friend's mother. She even stayed up late the night before planning her outfit. She wanted to take plenty of pictures and make sure that she went to every single store she wanted to go to. Little did anyone know, a simple girls' day out at the mall would quickly and dangerously turn left. Just after 6 p.m. on July 3rd, Linwood police responded to Alderwood Mall on 184th Street Southwest for reports of a shooting inside the food court. Upon arrival, they would find a hysterical and chaotic scene and an unresponsive young girl lying in the food court.
Now, police say she was shot in the mall near the food court, which is at the south end of the mall. Here's a closer look. Now, you can still see a heavy police presence outside that food court area hours after the shooting happened, which Linwood PD tweeted about around 7:15 tonight.
The victim was identified as 13-year-old Jada Woods Johnson, who was transported to a local hospital where she was sadly succumbed to a gunshot wound to the chest. According to witnesses, a group of around 4 teens approached 2 others, and an argument escalated into a physical confrontation, and then someone pulled out a gun, causing immediate chaos inside. The teens in both groups, including the suspect who fired the gun, fled from the mall. Crowds of people began running towards the exits and looking for places to escape the gunshots, including nearby stores within the vicinity of the food court. When it was all over, a young girl, Jada Woods Johnson, would be lying unresponsive. In a courageous act, an individual would actually run towards the gunfire in an effort to provide CPR to Jada, utilizing his former military training. Jada's pulse would continue to go in and out until paramedics were finally able to rush her to a nearby hospital, where she ultimately passed away.
When the shot was fired, everybody froze and started running. As I was taught, you don't run from the situation, you try to help the situation. So I ran to the person. She was laying on the floor, her friend was freaking out, and I just started freaking out, and I told them, like, let's lay her over, let's lay her on her back. When we lay her on her back, you can see the wound. She had a red wound, she was bleeding badly, which we grabbed a shirt, and we started compressing the wound. She started losing consciousness, so we started CPR.
Although Jada was walking by when the argument occurred, she had nothing to do with either groups. Just another story of an innocent bystander shot dead due to the egos and irresponsible nature of individuals who feel the need to prove how tough they are. Sick. Alderwood Mall was placed on lockdown as law enforcement did its best to control the situation. A spokesperson for the mall's owner, Brookfield Properties, said the company was grateful to its security team and the police for their quick response and leadership during this difficult time. We are completely devastated by the senseless, horrific tragedy that happened in our shopping center. Our thoughts are with the victim's family and friends during this unimaginable time. In observance and respect for them and our entire community, Alderwood Mall will remain closed today. From what I researched, Alderwood Mall doesn't really have a history of violent occurrences or outrageous activities, with the exception of one incident back in 2017. The incident happened just before 2 p.m. at the food court. Police said a 37-year-old man got into a confrontation with an employee and stabbed that employee. Another man in his mid-30s who intervened during the assault received a non-life-threatening cut. 2 other people were injured trying to flee the mall. One person twisted an ankle while another injured a knee. The individual was subsequently arrested. The mother of a 16-year-old boy would turn up to the Linwood police station on the evening of the shooting to turn her son in. His entire life over. Jada's life snatched away. And for what? To look cool? To prove himself to a bunch of misfits who still go on to live their lives as usual? Although this hasn't been confirmed or denied, I did come across a Facebook reel by the page The Journal 425 that hinted at there being some sort of rap beef between the shooter and another local rapper. Allegedly, this had something to do with the shooting at the mall that day. Please feel free to check out the Journal 425's video for further details. Either way, this entire situation was unnecessary and insane. A mall should be a place for community, a place to spend time and have fun with family and friends, or even by yourself. Sadly, this tragedy will possibly cause long-term trauma for individuals who were at the mall that day, or even those who received news of the horror that occurred that evening at Alderwood Mall.
What we see out here, like the hugs of relief, can be hard to reconcile with the trauma of what happened in there.
I grew up in this area, I went to this mall, I still frequent it, and so to have this kind of violence, senseless violence occur is upsetting.
How could it not be upsetting? Jada Woods Johnson was shot to death just after 6 o'clock in the food court area of Alderwood Mall. Investigators say a group of older teens got into some sort of altercation. The victim wasn't with either of the groups, completely innocent. Deputy Chief Patrick Fagan, at times visibly emotional when talking to reporters.
It's upsetting on a number of different levels. To have a totally innocent teenager hit is very upsetting. To have other teenagers engaged in this behavior on the eve of a national holiday, also upsetting.
Police say the suspect got away in the chaos. The mall went into lockdown. Then, the all too familiar scenes of shoppers, many of them young, gathering outside. What we see out here, like a deputy grabbing the hand of a crying little girl, leading her to safety, sure is hard to watch, knowing what so many saw in there.
Jada's family, friends, and even strangers were left heartbroken and angry. The unexpected violence sent shockwaves throughout the community, leaving many in disbelief and mourning the senseless loss of a young life. How could something like this happen, and why? Nothing could justify this. And to make things worse, the 16-year-old suspect was subsequently released after being held on a $500,000 bond and has no intentions on attending his previously scheduled court date. As if Jada's untimely and tragic murder weren't enough, her family couldn't even depend on the court system to impose justice on the individual responsible for snatching her life away. In a heartfelt statement, Jada's parents said the following: "We are extremely disappointed and disgusted to learn the mall shooter, the 16-year-old responsible for murdering our daughter, is shockingly already out on bail, back comfortable in his home. This is completely unreasonable and an example as to why this continues to occur too often in our country. Our justice system isn't taking a strong enough stand against those who are committing these senseless acts of violence." Vigils and memorials are being planned to honor her memory, and there's a growing call for increased measures to address youth violence and gun control in the area.
13-year-old Jada Woods Johnson was the quintessential teen.
She was just giggling so hard. We were on a road trip.
She loved music and movies, her family and friends.
And we're talking about an innocent 13-year-old girl, right? Minding her own business, doing what girls do.
Early Wednesday evening, she was shot and killed inside the Alderwood Mall in Linwood. The bullet was not intended for her. Police believe a 16-year-old boy fired the shot.
I guarantee you, Jada didn't even know that fight was going on. She was in her own world, happy, go lucky, wanted to see the best in everybody.
Jada lived just a 5-minute walk from the mall. Cheryl Huffman, a family spokesperson, says the young girl was passing time with a friend while that friend's parents waited in the parking lot outside.
Doing what teenage girls do.
Investigators say a fight between people Jada did not know ended with gunfire. A 16-year-old boy was identified as the suspected shooter, turned in by his mother hours after the shooting. Tonight, Jada's family and friends are in disbelief that the suspected shooter is no longer in custody.
Less than 24 hours, he was released. He was on bail, $50,000 on bail. Got out yesterday.
As they pray for justice, their focus turns to the family Jada leaves behind.
That's the last conversation that she gets to have with her daughter.
This fall, she would have started 8th grade.
She was the glue that just brought everybody together.
As of right now, there's no additional information on the pending charges against the 16-year-old suspect. Jada's family, along with friends in her community, are encouraging anyone with information regarding the events that led up to this deadly confrontation to come forward. Linwood police are also providing support to witnesses and others affected by the shooting. The gun used in the shooting has not been recovered, and the case remains ongoing.
So unfortunately, this evening at approximately 6:04 p.m., we had an altercation inside of Alderwood Mall near the food court involving two groups of people. During that altercation, one male pulled out a gun and fired a round, at least one round, towards the other group. Everyone then fled in different directions. Unfortunately and tragically, a uninvolved female was hit, and she was transported from the scene. I don't have any further information right now on that. Other than that, it was a teenage female, and she was uninvolved with either party, based on our information. I've sent out via Twitter a still photo from Alderwood Mall security video, which they provided for us, of the person we believe to be the shooter. He's described as a black male teenager with a large afro. He appeared to be wearing a white sweatshirt with some type of black writing on it, and possibly white shoes. He also was, there was another group that was part of the altercation, and we will be working on sending out a photo of those males. At this point, none of the involved parties are identified, and none are on scene any longer that we are aware of. The mall has been, is no longer in a lockdown. People are free to leave the mall. A search has been conducted. We had air overhead and canine on scene, but at this point, we don't have the suspects identified or in custody. So our heart is, of course, with this victim who was shot and had nothing to do with the altercation or anything else. And so our concern are with her and her family, and we've got everyone on scene doing a full investigation, both in conjunction with Alderwood Mall, who's assisting us, and with our fellow agencies in the area. I'm going to try to answer any questions. I don't have much additional information.
Do you know around the age group of the two groups that were?
Teenage, and I would say older teenager.
School just got out. This is a place where a lot of kids hang out for the summer or whatever. I mean, just kind of your reaction. There's a lot of young kids, and one who just had to be a victim of gun violence today while hanging out at the mall.
Well, I think what I'd point out is the mall is a place for the whole community to gather, and the mall does a good job at security within the mall. This was really an altercation between two groups that chose to do it here at the mall, and so that's unfortunate and frustrating for the whole community, and to create gun violence in our midst is really disheartening and upsetting.
How many suspects are you guys looking for?
There's, we believe, one person actually fired a gun. Then there is a different group of 4 to 5 males, so that's what we're trying to figure out right now. There could be more associated on either side, but those are kind of the basic info based on the video we've seen.
What would your message be to just the community? Obviously, there's somebody who you believe is responsible for the shooting who is out there. You never know kind of the mentality somebody goes into when they're running from police and trying to get away from
Right, I would encourage it, and we did send out via Twitter a picture of our believed suspect. So if they know that person, please call 911, call Linwood Police Department, or come to the police station and provide that information anonymously or in person, and give us that information so that we can track down those people in a safe manner and hold people accountable as the law expects us to. And yeah, if they know any, if they recognize any of them, they should call 911 and get that information to us.
How long was the food court on lockdown?
How long? I don't know exactly. The incident happened at about 6 p.m., 6:04. People were locked down in various businesses for safety, and then within the last 45 minutes, we made sure that we communicated both online and through in conjunction with mall security to let them know that they no longer had a shelter in place and they could leave. And then the additional thing I would ask, if anybody was here at the mall and witnessed any part of this and then left, I would encourage them to, again, call 911 or call Linwood Police or come down so that we can get any information from them on anything they happen to have witnessed.
Could I just get a quick synopsis from the top? Cairo's mics interfere with our mics.
Sure. At 6:04 p.m., approximately inside the mall near the food court, there was an altercation between one group of teenagers and at least one other teenager. And then in response to that, a teenager pulled a gun and fired a round. And tragically, that errant round hit an uninvolved teenage female who's been transported from the scene.
What's the condition?
I don't know. I haven't heard that yet. She was... No, we have not recovered the gun.
Is this the first time an incident has happened, a shooting incident has happened at the Hollywood Mall that you can recall?
I mean, I've been around a long time, so I could think back a long time ago. Certainly, it's the only one in recent memory.
So,
It's not a normal event at Alderwood Mall or anywhere in
How
our
was the
community.
response after the shooting?
And who responded?
Well, every officer in the area, of course from Linwood PD, but also we had great support from Snohomish County Sheriff's Office, Mount Lake Terrace, Edmonds, and probably other agencies that I'm just unaware of that all responded to assist us either with a perimeter or with searching. We had the State Patrol Air Unit was on scene providing overhead coverage. We had canines from out of the area come in to try to assist. So we had a pretty robust response immediately.
After the shooting, was this an argument between the two groups?
Certainly an altercation, yes. Something precipitated it and then ultimately resulted in one person pulling a gun and firing at least one round.
And this was an innocent flashback?
Yes. All indication is the female who was hit had nothing to do with either of those two groups.
I mean, Chief, we see this in pretty much every jurisdiction, but teen violence, we're seeing so much of it. Just interested on your thoughts of, and not to get into specifics on numbers, but I think we can all agree it's an issue. Your thoughts on that? Here we are, another example of that.
Well, I think there's issues of accountability and parental oversight, and so, yeah, and alternatives to violence. I think we need to encourage and enforce those, but I think accountability is also a big part of this, which could be difficult to, within the criminal justice system with juveniles, it's a difficult thing to hold people accountable at times.
Was she taken to Providence?
I don't have that. I could find out, but I don't know.
Suspect.
I'm sorry, Chief, do you have kids?
I do.
And I can't help but notice you seem emotional.
I am. It's upsetting on a number of different levels. To have a totally innocent teenager hit is very upsetting. To have other teenagers engaged in this behavior on the eve of a national holiday, also upsetting. I grew up in this area. I went to this mall. I still frequent it. And so to have this kind of violence, senseless violence occur is upsetting. It's upsetting for the officers and, of course, anyone that was inside the mall trying to enjoy a pre-holiday shopping event.
Are no suspects still on the run? Any danger to the public?
Well, I guess yes, in the sense that that person is armed or was armed, and we have not recovered that gun or that person. So there is a continued generalized threat to, I don't think it's, there's not a random ongoing thing, but the person is clearly a threat and needs to be taken into custody. Yes, the description was and I did send out a photo via X or Twitter. Was a black male teenager, probably 15 to 18, with a large afro, wearing a white sweatshirt with black writing on it. And yeah, that's the details we have right now.
Now you mentioned that that they chose to do this here. Was just
well,
to say
they didn't come here to do that event. No, it's just that they came here and then decided to engage in violent behavior. So that's what I mean. Not that they came here to do that.
What are some activities that kids could do besides just hanging out at the mall? Just because I know Linwood has been doing some stuff, so maybe some stuff that's upcoming that kids and parents could enjoy with their families.
Well, the 4th of July weekend, there's got to be fireworks shows all over the area. I would encourage everybody to attend, safe and sane one. A family barbecue would be a good idea, or going to the park and engaging in, just better outlets than random violence, which is just pointless and disheartening.
The investigation still going on. Do we think this may have been gang related?
I haven't had any indication of that specifically.
Okay.
No. That's all I have for now. So watch Twitter. We will provide any additional photos that might assist the public in helping us identify these involved people.